We're living in a world of breathtaking change. New technologies and cultural shifts are transforming our lives. But how did the world become this way? Why are our lives today so different from those of our parents or grandparents? And how are these changes likely to affect us in the future? These questions are the prime concern of sociology.
Studying sociology makes you look at things in a very different way.
Everything I hear, I just don't take for granted anymore.
It's all really relevant to real life and really interesting.
If you're watching this video, you're either thinking about taking sociology or you've just started it. So what is sociology? What do sociologists do? And what's it like being a sociology student? The starting point for sociology is not the library, but out here in the everyday social world. Just walk into any busy street or shopping mall and just watch for a few minutes.
Society is all around you. Most of us just take it for granted.
But for sociologists, this is where it all starts.
Sociology is about the study of the societies in which do we live today.
Studying societies and the people who make up societies.
Sociology is about who we are as people and how we fit into the world around us.
You think of yourself as a free agent, but actually lots of things that influence you, the clothes you wear, the music you listen to, the country with which you identify, they're not invented by you. They're part of a much larger social background to your life.
For example, as a woman, I may go around every day acting out my femininity in a way that's completely normal to me. But if I step back from that and say, well, where have those ideas come from? Why do I dress myself in this way? Why do I relate to people in a particular way? And begin to understand that actually those are images that have been fed to me from someone with a particular purpose in mind, usually to make me buy more magazines or buy more clothes or buy more makeup.
We are shaped by society, but all of us are the bearers of society. And this is this relationship which sociology studies. And it's so crucial to our lives. That's why a lot of people find sociology actually changes your life. The study of sociology changes how you see yourself.
It enables you to understand who you are and your place in the world.
So, sociologists are interested in the relationship between individuals and society. But what do you actually study when you take sociology?
Sociological theory of society.
Research methods.
Crime and deviance.
Gender.
Religion.
Evolutionary behaviour. Nations and nationalism.
Media.
Citizenship.
Marriage and families.
Health and illness.
Everybody can relate to the issues that we study in sociology in some way or another.
Being a sociologist is about taking what is familiar to you and standing back from it and trying to understand it in a way that will begin to make it strange.
So if we take crime, for example, the sociologist doesn't just ask why people commit crimes, it also asks why some actions are seen as criminal and why some individuals and not others are labelled as criminals.
The typical criminal you think of, like robbing banks and that kind of thing, but what about the politicians? Are they criminals? Can they be held accountable for their crimes?
Yeah, and I also think it kind of makes you less aware of the crimes that you're actually at risk of.
The boundaries of what we define as being legal and illegal have changed so much over time. I mean, 10 years ago, I think it was perfectly legal for a husband to rape his wife. And then going back sort of 50 years, it used to be illegal to be gay.
You'll have heard people say things like, well, that's only normal, or that's just natural. But when you start to study sociology, you may start to see things slightly differently.
You see that many things that you thought were simply part of your own personal characteristics come from the social context in which you live. For example, we don't eat dogs in the West. It seems to us a repulsive thing to do, the idea of eating a puppy for your dinner. But in other cultures, they do eat dogs. Definition of food is socially and culturally influenced. These things, I think, are a revelation to many people.
Take gender differences, for example.
Went to the furniture shop and brought a bigger bed.
Boys will be boys and girls will be girls. But for sociologists,
gender differences are often seen as residing in kind of natural, that we're just born male or female, that's it.
The other view is that men and women are socialised into particular roles.
One of the key things is to ask questions about how we become gendered beings, how we become girls, boys, men and women, and not to assume that this just comes naturally.
but it's not just our gender that's shaped by society.
Well, we don't just grow old, we learn to be old, because society is continually telling people this is how you behave now you're getting old. You don't go clubbing, you don't wear designer clothes, and you shouldn't be affectionate in public. You know, people kissing in public in films, it's fine, but not if you're old. Old people kissing, it's disgusting. So it's society as much as biology that shapes people's experiences of ageing. And the fact that it's social rather than natural means it can be challenged, it can be changed.
I'm a bit worried about the way media portrays it.
That's when sociology really works for me. It gives you the ability to say, the world doesn't have to be like that after all.
So it's the role of sociology to show that common sense is often wrong. People might believe, for example, that there's much less inequality in our society than there actually is. So sociology always has to go beyond common sense. It always has to show the world as it really is, not how people think it might be.
In fact, in Britain just 10% of the population own more than half the wealth, and the poorer half has less than 10%. While 80% of children from middle-class backgrounds now go to university, the figure is less than 20% for working-class children. And your class can influence not just your life chances, but how long you live. The death rates of working-class babies are 4 times higher than babies born into professional families.
For sociologists, inequality isn't just the result of individual talents and differences, it's also social.
Where you're born in a society strongly influences where you end up later on in your life.
So the first lesson in life is choose your parents carefully.